Rule number 7, solve player movement. We need to solve the player movement according to the operations of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. These 4 operations tell us how the players are moving. For division, we say that the players are jumping. So one player is jumping over another, like shown in this picture. This is what we must imagine. For multiplication, we say that our players are tackling. And we imagine 2 players tackling for the ball, like these 2 shown on the picture. And for addition and subtraction, we say that our players are running. And they can be running to the ball or away from the ball, like these 2 young guys running for the ball. Rule number 8, solve laws of metals. The laws of metals come from identifying the players' metals. So after we have identified the players' metals, we have to solve the laws of the metals. And we have 4 laws of metals. The first one is the zero law. The zero law tells us that a to the power 0 equals 1. And the reason why we call it the zero law is because of this 0 that is shown as an exponent or a medal for the player. And a picture you can imagine is the 0 medal. Here's a medal shown or engraved or marked with the number 0. Law number 2 is the invisible 1 law. The invisible 1 law says a to the power 1 equals a. So anything to the power 1 will be itself. And we must imagine a medal with the number 1 in the middle. So the reason why it's called the invisible 1 law is, as you can see, we had a to the power 1, which was visible. But it also equals or is the same as a on its own without any medal shown here. So that medal can be shown or not shown. Hence, it is an invisible 1 law. Then the third law is the addition law. And the addition law says a to the power m times a to the power n equals a to the power a plus n. And the reason we call it the addition law is because when we multiply 2 players, when 2 players are tackling, we must add their medals. We must add their medals. That's why we have the addition law. So when we see the picture here of 2 players tackling for the ball, we must add their medals. Then we have the subtraction law. The subtraction law says a to the power m over a to the power n equals a m to the power m minus n. Which means when we have a division of players, one player jumping over another, division of players, or one player jumping over another, we must subtract their medals. And the reason why we call it the subtraction law is because we subtract their medals. So as you see in the picture, one player jumping over another, we have to subtract their medals. Rule number 9, solve laws of cards. The laws of cards comes from the ref's cards. So we have 3 laws of cards. The first one is the multiplication law. It says, open bracket x, close bracket to the power 3 equals x to the power 1 times 3. So we have a player inside and we have a card outside. We have a card outside. And this ref's card must multiply the player's medal inside. So the player's medal was initially invisible, but we've shown it here. So it's 1 times 3. And the reason why we say it's the multiplication law is because we multiply the medal times the card. And as shown in the picture here, This is from the ref roll. The ref will come, blow his whistle, and issue out the card. And as he issues out the card, we multiply it with the player's medal. The second law is also a multiplication law. And we have inside brackets 4x squared, close bracket 2 the power 3, which equals to the power 1 times 3 times x to the power 2 times 3. So what we see here is the ref's card again. Here's the ref's card. The ref's card multiplies the invisible 1 for the 4 inside and multiplies the 2 for the x inside. And that's why we have the 1 times 3 shown here and the 2 times 3 shown here. So once again, the ref blows his whistle, comes and blows his whistle and issues out the card, and this card will multiply the player's medals. So it multiply the player's jersey medal and the player's name medals. And the last one is another multiplication law. And we have inside bracket x over y, close bracket to the power 3. To the power 3 is also a ref card. It's a ref card because it's outside the brackets. And this ref card will also equals x to the power 1 over 3. So it multiplies the invisible 1 inside. And at the bottom, it will also multiply the invisible 1 for the y. So as shown here, over y 1 times 3. And we have the ref coming and issuing out his card, blows his whistle, issues out the card, and issues both players with the card, and that card multiplies their medals. That's what we must think of when you think of the laws of cards. So for the laws of cards, as you can notice, they always have brackets. They always have brackets. So whenever you see brackets, you must know that the card outside multiplies the medals inside. The card outside multiplies the medals inside. Rule number 10, game strategy. This is game on. We at the last rule, and now we need to remember all the rules that we've gone through and how to put them together for a winning strategy. We are going to go through the identification, the positioning, the movement, the laws of the medals, and the laws of cards. These are the things that you must think of when you're now going and putting your A game on and solving those problems. So for identification, we need to remember the jersey number. How to identify the jersey number. How to identify the players' names. How to identify the players' medals. How to identify the ref's cards. So once you've identified all of these, you know your players, how they look, what numbers they are, what are their names, what are their medals, and what are their cards. You can move on to the next thing. So you need to think about now, where are they positioned? Are they on the midfield, free, running, like in the picture here? You have these arrows of players moving around, players positioned on the midfield. Are they in the penalty box? And this is determined by the brackets. Is this player inside the penalty box? Are they in the goal box? And this is determined by the roots. Are they in the goal box? Once you've done that, you know the position. Now you need to look at the movement. How are they moving? Are they jumping? Are they tackling? Are they running? That one, you need to look at the signs and see what signs they have and what does it mean. Then we look at the laws of the medals. So once you've identified the medals, the players' medals, remember we've identified the players' medals, then we need to know, okay, since I have medals, what happens now? What are the laws that I have to follow? Is it the 0 law? Is it the invisible 1 law? Is it the addition law? or the subtraction law. So remember, with the addition law, these are tackling players. With the subtraction law, these are jumping players. Tackling players are multiplication. Subtraction players are dividing, jumping. So the players are, if the players are tackling or multiplying, then we use the addition law. If the players are jumping or dividing, then we use the subtraction law. Then we come to the laws of cards. Do we have the refs cards? If we have the refs cards, and how do we know whether we have the refs cards? Is if we have brackets and a card outside. If we have brackets and a card outside, we need to follow the multiplication law. The multiplication law, remember, the cards must multiply the medals. So all the medals inside must be multiplied by the cards. And this is the strategy you need to follow every single time you go and solve a team. You need to go through the identification, know your players, where are they positioned, how are they moving, what are the laws of medals, and what are the laws of cards. Then you can solve. Let's do a recap of all the rules, starting with rule number 1, terminology. An expression is a team, a term are a number of players, variable are the players' names, coefficients are the jersey numbers, constants are the anonymous jersey numbers, those without a name, and exponents are the medals and the cards. Then rule number 2, we said, is identify the jersey numbers. So these are the coefficients and the constants that we spoke about. And these are the numbers that we see as our jersey numbers. Rule number 3, identify the players' names. We said the variables, which are the letters or the alphabets, will stand for the players' names. And the names are seen at the back of the jerseys. Rule number 4, identify the players' medals. We said that the exponents for the players are the players' medals. So the exponents by the jersey numbers or the players' names are the medals. Rule number 5, identify the referee cards. We said that the referee cards are the exponents that are hanging outside the brackets. So the numbers hanging outside the brackets are the ref's cards. Rule number 6, identify the player position. Our players can be positioned on the midfield or inside the penalty box if they're inside the brackets, or in the goal box if they're under the roots. Rule number 7, solve player movement. We said player movement can be jumping, tackling, or running. And this is determined by division is jumping, multiplication is tackling, addition and subtraction is running. Rule number 8, solve laws of medals. Once we've identified the players' medals in rule number 4, then we can solve their medals. And we have 4 laws of medals. We have the 0 law, the invisible 1 law, the addition law, and the subtraction law. Rule number 9, solve laws of cards. Likewise, once we've identified the ref cards in rule number 5, then we can solve the laws of cards. And we have the multiplication laws of cards. And finally, rule number 10, game strategy. This is where now we recall all the rules that we've gone through and set up a winning strategy. So we need to know the identity of our jersey numbers, our players' names, our players' medals, our referee cards, our players' position, and start solving our movements and our laws of medals and our laws of cards. Once we know how to identify and how to solve, then we have a winning strategy. Then we can know how our players are positioned and how they're moving.